Okay, very good. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. It's wonderful to have you here. And at that, we will say, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kniezek.
Here.
Commissioner Kinlock.
Present.
Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Chair Clark Coleman.
Here.
Have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none. Next.
C, approval of the February 9th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Okay, can I have a motion on that, please?
So move.
Support.
It's been properly moved by Commissioner Basham, supported by Commissioner Scott. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The motion carries. Okay, so we're going to take all of our items here, and then at that point, we will have one motion for all of the action that we've taken here. Okay, so Madam Chair, would you like to get started?
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Okay. Next
Item one, under new business, communication from the Executive's Office forwarding a report on the operations/activities of the Violent Crimes Joint Task Force for fiscal years 2019 through 2020 and 2020 through 2021.
Okay. We do, and with that, we would be, normally we would be hearing from Tony Guerrero, but he indicated, that is correct, right?
This is the sheriff's office item.
Oh, is this the sheriff? Okay, go ahead.
No. This is Mr. Turfy, the chief of staff's item. Our item is number 2.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, it is. So who's here to speak on this item? We'll forward a report on the operations activity.
Assad should be.
Yeah, he's not. I guess there's no one here. Do we have anyone here from the executive's office at all on the line? Okay. Do we have anyone here from the executive's office? Why don't we come back to that one? And meanwhile, we should probably contact someone from the executive office. So we'll move to the next item and then we'll come back. We'll come back to that at the end of the items.
Item 2, communication from Tamaya Harp, Director of Administration, Sheriff's Office, forwarding a report on overtime costs.
Okay, Samaya, you're up.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. Samaya
Morning.
Harp, Sheriff's Office. I hope everybody's doing well. This is our monthly overtime report. As of January 20th, 2022, we have spent $3.2 million in overtime. Our total budget is $9.5 million. So we have about $6.3 million balance to spend until December of 2022. We have a lot of things that are above and beyond our control that do contribute to the overtime, one of which is the number of vacancies that we have. As of the date that I wrote the report, we had 352 vacant police officers positions at every rank. Last year we had, in 2021, we had hired 31 police officers, yet we lost 99 to retirement and resignation. In 2022, so far, we have hired 15 police officers and 10 have retired. And just wanted to inform you that we have a jailers training class that's going on right now, and we have 22 officers in that. So we are very hopeful that we'll be able to bring in more applicants and then get them through the jailers training class. The other thing we don't have control over is the number of individuals at the sheriff's office who have submitted FMLA packets, and that's a federal government benefit. We have 605 employees out of 699 employees, which is 87% of our employees who have submitted FMLA one way or another. They can work one day or they can be off for 5 days. It depends on what their doctor allowed them to do or recommended. So we have 87% of our staff on FMLA. We also have a little bit over 80% of our staff have tested positive to COVID. Yes, over 80%. 264 have tested positive before the vaccination started last year, and then 295 have tested positive after the vaccination. Are there any questions about this report that I can answer?
Did you say you had 80% of your employees out on are they out on FLMA?
On FMLA? No, they're not particularly out. They submit FMLA packet. It could be that they're off one day, or they could be a restriction where they can work only 8 hours a day, or they can work 6 hours a day. But yeah, they do. Yeah, almost 87%. Yes, have submitted one type of FMLA or another. Yeah. And there's restrictions on how many hours they work or not work, but they're not out. They're not completely out of the office. No, they work, but there's restriction to how many hours they work.
Okay. Are there any comments from members? Okay. Has anyone, Joe, did you try to contact someone from the executive office?
Through the chair, Pam is getting hold of Andy Candrivas. In looking back at the report, it was prepared by Lieutenant Reinhardt from the sheriff's office, but it was under Assad Turfy's direction.
Madam Chair, hi, Andrew Candrivas here.
Okay, Andy, go ahead.
Hi, from Wayne County Executive's Office. I apologize for being late to the meeting. I was trying to contact Mr. Turfy, and we asked, if there's any questions regarding this, if we can put it on the next agenda, I can make sure that Chief of Staff Turfy is on the call to answer, and we can take it from there. I don't have any knowledge of this document itself.
Okay, Joe? Joe?
Yes.
I'm here.
Yep.
Do you want to, was that Pam that I heard?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so were you able to contact Mr. Turfy?
No, I contacted Andrew Candrivas.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, then I guess we can put it off until the next meeting then.
If there are questions regarding it, yes.
Are there any questions regarding this report? Any questions at all? Well, I guess if there are no questions, then we can just move on from it. The next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a 3-year grant agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Okay, Tony did text me to say that he had a meeting today with the police chiefs in Western Wayne County. So he would not be able to be here, but he says that this is a 3-year grant agreement between Wayne County and the Department of Justice with no county match of funds involved. The amount of the grant is $1 million and covers the cost of 3 investigators, 1 paralegal, 1 administrative assistant, and 1 site coordinator for the Wayne County Sexual Assault Kit Task Force. Chair Bell did authorize the extant approval of the grant agreement for $1 million. The reason for the delay was the fact that we did not receive the approval or the correct paperwork from the U.S. Department of Justice in a timely manner. Now, he's indicated that if there are any questions, he would be able to address them later on. So are there any questions on this item? Hearing none, we'll move along. Madam Clerk.
Item 5 on the agenda, requesting commission approval of Amendment 7 to a memorandum of understanding with Avalon Healing Center.
Okay. Who's here to speak on this? Samaya, are you?
That would be me. That would be
Go
me.
ahead.
Through the chair, this is a contract that we bring in every year to commission for approval. There's no cost associated with this contract. I'm not sure if you remember, it used to be called SAFE, and now they've changed their names to Avalon Healing Center. Per the PREA Public Act, we are required to provide the inmates with support system, confidential support system services, just in case if they had sexual assaults before or during or when they're in at the jails. It also provides them services when they leave the jails as well. Confidentially, they talk about if they had any sexual assaults, and they're all free of charges. There's no charges to the inmates while they're at the jails, nor is it any charges to them after they leave the jails. And we usually send this on an annual basis, but we are entering into a 5-year contract, which is great. So I don't have to come up quite often. I'm hoping to do that with all of our contracts, to do 3 years or 5 years. So the term of this is February 26th through February of 2022 through February 25th, 2027.
Okay. Committee members, are there any questions or concerns, or would you like to address anything on this item?
I don't have any questions.
You said, who is that?
That's kind of like I said, I don't have any.
Oh, okay. All right, moving right along.
Item 6, communication from the Director of Finance, Sheriff's Office, forwarding notification of an emergency procurement report for a purchase order with ABE Solutions.
That would be me again,
Okay.
Madam Chair. Through the chair, back in November last year, we had an emergency where we had a water shut off between the jail 1 and jail 2, and we had to provide the inmates with cases of water just in case the shut off is more than 1 day. This emergency purchase was approved by the procurement director and the budget director, and it allowed us to buy 252 cases for the inmates, so they can drink water as opposed to not having water at all during the shut-off period of the water main break.
Okay. I do remember this. And so this is just you're just forwarding this item, right? This is.
Yes.
It doesn't, I guess we are not asked here to make, to approve this.
No, I don't think it was for your information.
Forwarding, this is a forwarding.
Through the chair, this is Joe Slazak. This is an emergency procurement report, so technically it's a receive and file because the water's already been purchased and
Right.
this has already been paid for, and the purchase order's already been closed.
So we don't have to take action on this. We're just
with all 5 of the items, if you will, just recommending to move it on to the full board.
receive and file. Receive and file.
Yes.
Okay, we're receiving and filing 1 through 5. Wait. Let's see.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 5 are actually, sorry, 1, 2, and 6 are receive and file. 3 and 5 are approval items.
Okay, all right. 3 and 5. 3 and 6. No, 3. Wait, 3 and 6 or 3 and 5?
3 and 5, because 5 is the Avalon Healing Center.
All right, all right. So at this time, I would like to a motion to recommend these items at 1, 2, 3, and 5 for action, and the other items for board approval.
So move, Madam Chair.
Support, Kenlock.
Supported, moved by, who did I hear move this?
Commissioner Scott.
Okay,
And Commissioner Kenlock supported.
all right. Properly moved and supported. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 4, a discussion with Chief Michael T. Turner, Sheriff's Office Chief of Staff, on establishing Wayne County Sheriff's Office Police Foundation.
Okay, you're on, Chief Michael Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to this esteemed body of commissioners. I want to come before you today to talk to you about what we in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is looking to establish, a Wayne County Police Foundation. The purpose of this foundation will be to offset costs associated with the agency as it relates to wants. Things that we like to purchase for the men and women in the agency from a equipment standpoint that we're not able to put into the budget, because the budget, we focus on what we need, what we have to have. And the foundation will focus on things that we like to have in addition to what the needs are. We've been going to these national sheriff conferences for over 10 years, and every year the National Sheriff's Association urging sheriff offices to create a foundation. We've been watching how successful and beneficial the Detroit Police Foundation is to the Detroit Police Department and to the Detroit Fire Department. And we thought that it was time that we need to step up and step out and do the same for the men and women in this agency. And we wanted to come before public safety to give you a heads up. We have in the very preliminary stages. We do not have our board yet, and we've been consulting with my dear friend who has been so kind enough to join us this morning, none other than the one and only Patty Kukula, who is the executive director of the Detroit Police Foundation. I'd like for Patty to speak take a few minutes or a few moments to talk about how beneficial this could be for us as it is for the Detroit Police Department. And then Director Harb, I do believe you've got a little presentation, Director. Okay, that didn't sound like a yes.
Nope. But no. Do you want me to present the mission and vision?
I'm going to ask that you do that first, and then I would ask that Patty say a few words, and then I'd be more than happy to entertain questions from the Public Safety Committee.
Okay. Madam
Director Samaya?
Yes, I'm pulling up the PowerPoint presentation. Just give me 1 second. My apologies.
Yeah.
So we plan on establishing this foundation. Our mission is to honor and empower law enforcement officers while promoting and fostering the vital work of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office by providing a nonprofit resource for needed law enforcement personnel and programs in the community. Our vision is to strive to provide efficient, effective, and professional law enforcement services by bringing together the private sector and funding to address public safety challenges and community needs. We do have a message from the sheriff. The message is that the foundation is an important partner with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. The foundation helps to close a critical gap in resources and maximizes the potential for community partnership to advance public safety. The Sheriff's Office is very fortunate to have some of our best community and business leaders step forward to serve as part of the foundation with their leadership and support from the community. The sheriff does believe that it will result in a closer relationship between the citizens of Wayne County the citizen we serve, and the employees of the Sheriff's Office who provide the services. Any questions?
Yeah, well, the comment that I was going to make was, because I'm familiar with the Detroit Police, their foundation, because I've been involved in some of the events that Patty Kakula has invited me to. So I'm familiar with the concept. So I guess my question is, how would this be funded? Would you?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
If I could, please, could I ask Patty to speak first and then we'll take questions?
Okay, all right, go
Before we
ahead.
get into the questions and answers.
Ms. Kakula, would you please
Thank you.
speak?
I am so honored today to be in front of my friends and longtime associates of the Wayne County Commission and staff in Wayne County. You know, it's a special place in my heart being a retiree of Wayne County government. I've always loved the county, and I'm very excited that Mike had approached me and the sheriff approached and said, hey, you know, tell us more about what you guys are doing over here, because anytime I have a chance to share some of the items that come to me, you know, certainly I immediately call the sheriff and Mike and say, hey, I've got this stuff. What do you want it? It's in-kind donations. I had 7 semi-truckloads of hand sanitizers from Walmart through the White House last summer during COVID. And, you know, it's not, and I just kept saying, yes, I'll take it, because I was able to not only give them to the jail and the sheriff, Wayne County, but Hamtramck and Inkster and Highland Park and Dearborn and West. I mean, I spread them out everywhere. And it's clear that the sheriff and Mike realize that these foundations are very helpful in not, you know, buying things that your budget would buy, but at times there's emergencies. Even yesterday, on Friday, I was called by Chief White and said, Patty, I need more gun locks. I'm going on this major program. We're going to be delivering them to houses. I had 2,400 gun locks here within 48 hours that added to what we had, but we wanted to make sure we had enough, and there will be more. Those were all donated. That's about $7,000 worth of gun locks. And I just got on the phone and made calls. And because I'm a nonprofit, I'm able to give them a tax letter. They can use it as a tax credit. So there's that benefit. But it bridges the gap a lot of time between things you can do in the community, as well as helping the boots on the ground folks be able to have extra training that maybe they wouldn't have in their training budget, or you have a grant for buying some equipment that isn't already approved, but you need it now. In some areas of any facility that you have within there. The other benefit that's kind of nice in funding, when I started in this position in 2017, the only funding source pretty much was the 2 events that we had every year, which are pretty elaborate. The Above and Beyond, where we honored officers and firefighters and EMS, and also Women in Blue. And that was the operational support from there. And then, of course, our board members were very generous. We had very wealthy, Mr. Nicholson, everybody knows Jim, was very, very generous to this foundation. But since then, you know, it's not sustainable just relying on events, as you know, especially, thank goodness, I switched over a little bit and didn't just rely on events. This 501c3, because its mission is broad, is allowed to file for grants. I actually have programs. I have 14 now outreach workers that are providing services with brotherhood and sisterhood mentoring programs through the Detroit Public Schools with the officers. The officers are actually assigned to assist with various meetings and mentoring programs. And I get money for that from various organizations. I have funding right now from United Way, I had funding from Hudson Weber, from the Flynn Foundation. I have probably 9 different agencies now that have funding, and each of those agencies allow an administrative charge for the work that I do. So we've gone from 100% funded by activities to now having only 30% to 40% funded by activities or donations. So it's a shift, but the community and the police have benefited in particular because they are so close to the community and providing these services that it helps during the protests. Chief Craig will tell you, Chief White will tell you, the folks that I have in the streets doing this work, they know the community better. And during the protests, they walked. My outreach workers were there every time there were these protests with the protesters. And they were there to make sure that the community knew they were there because they know them. They know them from being out there now for the last 3.5 years. So money comes from what the executive director is able to raise, what the board members are able to commit to raise or to give. You know, I'm a really lean machine. Actually, only 5% of your dollar that gets donated here goes toward administration. And I mean, that's not normal, I think, but we're very fortunate that the city of Detroit gives us a free office right in headquarters. So the chief comes down to the office. I have my computers were donated, the phones donated. So a lot of those kind of operational locked expenses I don't have, which is also a benefit to being here. But the flexibility of helping an emergency situation and having a credit card here to do things for the folks on the ground, it's invaluable. And the chief will tell you that. He always, when Sheriff Washington yesterday was here with the press conference with Kim Worthy and Chief White, James White, I had the gun locks were delivered at the same time I was there. And one of the first things that was recognized was, thank you, Detroit Public Safety Foundation. We have the gun locks here. The officers are here. And it's that kind of trust and that kind of partnership so that the goals that are set with the leadership of the law enforcement agency that you're with. There's only 250 of these across the country. But I have been asked to help Livonia. I helped them start their foundation in the last 1.5 years. I'm helping Inkster at this time. Romulus has a very small one, but it will depend on how you want to utilize this foundation. You know, Commissioner Chair, you know how I am. This started out in this agency. It wasn't like it is today. It was struggling. But today, last year, we had $3.7 million that flew through here in this little office. I only have a bookkeeper and I have a grants and a media person. That's it. There's just 3 of us that are operating a $3.7 million budget. And we hope to grow even more. We've gotten a DOJ grant, which is where the DOJ is going actually, instead of just always giving money to municipalities. They're looking for nonprofits like us to run their programs through. And so we were awarded $753,000 for 3 years through the Department of Justice. And we're one of the first across the country. And I know when I go to the newly formed National Public Safety Network, we're going to Vegas in March, the DOJ will be there again and stress to the agencies that are there, the New York, the Los Angeles, the Las Vegas Foundation, which is a sheriff's foundation, by the way, the Las Vegas Foundation. So many of these others, the DOJ is coming to us saying, we think you need to operate these programs because, you know, there's all this defund the police, whatever, but these kinds of programs are police directed because of where I am, but they're not, because there's citizens from the neighborhoods who are working to help the community in having a better path for their children primarily. So I think this is a wonderful forward step for the county to take. And I've offered, you know, my services to Mr. Turner and to Sheriff Washington, of course, because I think this could be good for you as well.
Well, that sounds good. We certainly welcome any additional resources that we can get, and I have seen some of the things that the Detroit. I didn't know what it was at first, and I would see it popping up here and giving away this, and I'm going, well, what is that? and then I was able to get more information on it. But no, it sounds good. I see Commissioner Ray Basham has his hand up. Commissioner.
I've always got to be the skunk at the picnic. But anyway, thank you, Patty, for all the good work that you do. But my questions keep arising, like for sunshine checks and balances. Is there going to be a board? I mean, who holds who accountable? You know, sometimes the best intentions, you know, once you get into it for a year or two down the road, things happen, and some of them, the best intentions winds up with a stain on her face. So, does the foundation really need the county? I mean, if you're a nonprofit, why can't you be a nonprofit and just benefit the county? Why do you need the county to vote on something like this, or to be it under the county?
Well, I'm not going to speak for Mr. Turner about that one. Do you think?
If I fully understand the question, Commissioner, I don't think we need the county, but I want to be in total transparency. Your questions are on point. I'm going to be asking someone from this body, from the commission, to sit on the board. I'll be asking someone from the county exec's office to sit on the board, and the board will be from the outside. I want to mirror what Detroit is doing, the police foundation. And I also think it's critical, extremely critical, that we be transparent and make sure that we do everything from A to Z through transparency. I's are dotted, T's are crossed.
Chief Turner.
Yes.
I think that what the chief first of all asked me to make this presentation. This is not for board approval. This is not for committee approval. He's just informing us of what the sheriff's department would be working on or establishing as a nonprofit. I don't think that this would fall under the jurisdiction of the county commission, or even the county. This is going to be a nonprofit operating privately. Am I?
Yeah, yes, it is. But I always feel, Madam Chair, and to the commissioners, that I try to keep public safety informed on everything we're doing. I don't like for you to find out from the outside. I try to come to you, give you the heads up, get input from you. Commissioner Basham, you're a stickler for making sure that we're transparent. And so I want to hear from you, because I want to always be on the side of righteousness. And so I take input from this committee, and I just try to keep you informed as to what we're doing and where we're going, and get guidance from you as well.
Yeah.
Madam.
Okay, I see Commissioner Kenlock has his hand up.
Yeah,
Go
Madam
ahead.
Chair. Yes, Madam Chair. I'm not that sure, and I would like our council to actually look into this. You have an arm of the county setting up a nonprofit that will be collecting and requesting grants, donations, even though it's not as if it is a nonprofit set up by the average Joe. It's an elected official, an elected department head. I'm not sure whether or not the county plays a role in this. So I just want some clarity from our council, and I appreciate the sheriff's office coming and explaining this to us, because we all know the work that Patty and the foundation has done down through the years. She wears so many different hats, and all of those hats benefit the community. But I definitely want to see, I appreciate the transparency, but I want to find out if there is an actual requirement for a nonprofit to be set up by an officer or agent of the county to act on behalf of the county. So I just would be interested in knowing that.
Okay, so is Felicia, are you on? Is Felicia on, Pam? Or is Pam on?
Pam is on. I'm checking to see if Felicia is on. Yes, she is.
Can she weigh in on this, please?
My apologies. I was having technical difficulties.
Okay.
Through the chair, I would have to get back to the committee. I'm not aware of the county's. Well, let me get back to the committee and to review this. I think there's additional information that will be needed. It's not clear if the sheriff is doing this in his official capacity, or are they doing this as sort of private individuals setting up a nonprofit? Are they trying to set it up officially through the county in their official capacity? I think there's some additional information that will need to be understood before I can answer your question. Because obviously, if it's a nonprofit, it wouldn't necessarily be an arm of the county. So I would imagine everyone's doing this in their private capacities. So I can get with Samaya in the sheriff's office, get some additional information, and then get back with you.
Okay, and I
Thank
see
you, ma'am.
I see Patty's hand up. Maybe she can weigh in on this also.
And then also I want to say, say that absolutely support this. Even if we have to vote in to support it, just wanted to be clear, because see, we had questions last week when we were receiving grants, but I think this is definitely different because it's a separate nonprofit that's being set up. So just wanted to get clarification.
And I appreciate these questions, and that's why I'm here, because I don't want to get down the road and this
Right.
come to me and say, "Hey, hold on, you went down the wrong, one way the wrong way," and we have issues with this. So I'm here before we start the car down the road to make sure that we're going in the right direction, and that we have. I never like to do anything in this agency and don't have the full support of Public Safety Committee.
Let me also just say this, at the Detroit Board of Education, we set up a foundation, we voted there. When we set up the foundation for the Detroit Public Schools, the board voted on it. Also on the Port Authority, when we set up our, a nonprofit there, we also had voted on that. So that's why I was pretty much asking, yeah.
Okay, so Michael, I think that you're doing it the absolute right way, that you're coming before the committee and making a presentation before you get down that road. And Felicia is certainly going to be looking into this to see what, if anything, we need to do, or whether or not that's something that can be handled without the county's involvement. Now, I still see Patty's hand up, so let's let Patty weigh in on it. And Jonathan, put your hand down.
Thank you. For historical purposes, Mayor Bing used his city employees to set up this foundation. It was real timely, of course, for him because of with the bankruptcy, he was able to help use some other things, but they were placeholders that once the board members were actually identified and discussed about what their role would be, how many times they'd meet, all of those things, the city employees would resign. So starting of this foundation was the city's folks that were initially there, but they were placeholders until things resigned. Now, of course, everybody does things differently. I like to have, again, our city council, just as, Chief Turner's explained, I like to have our city council and mayor really involved. And so I actually go in front of the council and ask them to see what I have. If it's over, $25,000, I'll go in front of them and say, this is what I have. And they say, thank you very much. But I explain what we're doing because we are using officers to assist in some of my programs. I also have Chief White on my board. When I do my updates, I email, he's on my board. He has First Assistant Todd Bettison, First AC, Todd Bettison on my board, who's always at our meeting. He's part of the voting. He actually does an update at the end every board meeting. We meet 4 times a year, but there's a place for him to discuss what's going on in DPD and talk about things that he may want us to do in the future. So the city is very engaged. The police is very engaged. And I send to the mayor and the council a report at the end of the year of our activities so that they know how much money we brought in, what we spent it on, where we're going. So they're the first to get my annual report. And if they have any questions, they'll email me, but it's a very give and take kind of relationship. I actually went in front of the board, the our council and had them do a resolution identifying Detroit Public Safety Foundation as a recognized charity for them. And I did that specifically because I don't want nonprofits that are not really in tune with Chief White or the mayor or the city council to pop up. But that's our choice. You have obviously a lot of choices to make. The 501c3 is an independent corporation. You have no FOIA with the nonprofit, but the transparency is critical, I think. And I think the direction that I'm hearing from this commission and from the sheriff and Chief White is very positive for the county. It's just my opinion, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Kenlock again.
Thank you, and this will be very brief. No, she's right. My experience has been the initial board, it was placeholders, and then moving forward, the nonprofit absolutely had nothing. I mean, the governmental body, I guess, creating it had nothing to do with any of the business of the nonprofit moving forward. So I'm, like she said, there's a number of different ways to look at this, and I'm looking forward to hearing what our council has to say. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other comments or questions on this item? This is strictly informational. We will not be voting on this. This is an informational presentation that the chief asked me he would to make before this body, just to make them aware of what they were planning on doing before they got out there and did it. So I appreciate that. So we will certainly be waiting to hear from Felicia if what she thinks about this, and if it's violating any rules. I don't think it is, but if it is, then we'll address that at that time. Anyone else? Martha G, you got any comments or concerns?
Well, let me just say that I think it's a great idea. And I think there's enough of these organizations that have gone before them doing this nonprofit that we will be able to learn from all of them. And I know Patty knows. And so we thank her for being here to explain her part of it. And I just thank the chief for coming in, letting us know, because when we hear people, your constituents will ask us what it's about, and then we will have an idea on what it's about. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It is a learning experience for all of us. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason for the presentation. Mm-hmm. So are there any other comments or concerns? Okay. Thank you so much, Chief Michael Turner. And also thank you so much to my good friend, Patty Kakula, for gracing us with her busy schedule. And you too, Chief Turner. So thank you very much. And we will we will await the comments from our general counsel in the coming future.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and commissioners, for giving me the time, and to my good friend Patty, thank you so much for what you've already done and what you have committed to do. And I hope that everyone have a great day.
Yeah, I hope that when this gets off the ground, because I think it will, that we will have as much positive results as the city, the Detroit Police Foundation, because it's been very successful, and I see it out in the community. So I hope that that the sheriff's office will be able to have one at one half as successful as the Detroit Police.
As do I, Madam Chair. As do I. I hope that as well.
Okay.
We've certainly got a great example put out by the Detroit Police Foundation. So
yes,
they laid the roadmap for us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. So thank you very much for being here.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Moving right along. Madam Clerk.
F, Such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have not been informed of anything else.
Public comments.
Okay. Would you unmute the public, please? At
Lines
this
are unmuted.
Okay, at this time, we will take comments from the public, either via Zoom or the telephone at this time. So if there's anyone on Zoom via your computer or telephone, please speak up at this time. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment on Zoom or on your phone? Last call. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment at this time? Madam Clerk, do we have any emails?
No emails.
Okay, hearing that, moving to the next item.
Adjournment.
So moved,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
All right,
Support.
Or
been properly moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Kenlock and Basham. All those in favor, please indicate